The blazing July sun hung over my parents' backyard, while the smell of charcoal drifted through the warm afternoon air. Laughter echoed around the patio as relatives filled paper plates with food. Near the grill, my older brother Marcus stood proudly in front of the flames, flipping burgers as if he were hosting a television cooking show. Every few seconds, his wife, Jennifer, pointed her phone at him, recording videos for social media while praising everything he did. Their twin sons raced across the lawn wearing expensive designer sneakers that probably cost more than I spent on groceries in an entire month. Beside me, my 7-year-old son Daniel gently tugged on my sleeve. "Mom," he whispered, "can I have a burger? I'm really hungry." I looked down at his hopeful face and smiled. "Of course, sweetheart. Let's go ask Uncle Marcus." Hand in hand, we walked toward the grill where Marcus was entertaining Dad and our cousin Trevor with another story about his newest business success. Ever since opening his third auto repair shop, every family gathering had turned into a celebration of Marcus. Daniel waited patiently until Marcus finished speaking. "Uncle Marcus," he asked politely, "could I please have a burger?" Marcus slowly turned toward us. His eyes moved from Daniel to me, and a familiar expression spread across his face, one I'd seen too many times over the years. It was a mixture of pity and superiority. Then, without the slightest hesitation, he laughed. "These burgers," he announced loudly, "are only for children who actually have a future, kids whose parents know how to provide for them." His words sliced through the cheerful atmosphere. The conversations around us stopped. For a brief moment, the backyard became completely silent. Dad shifted uncomfortably but remained quiet. Mom suddenly became very interested in arranging the potato salad on the table, pretending she hadn't heard anything. Jennifer burst into laughter, encouraging Marcus instead of stopping him. Trevor frowned, shook his head in disappointment, and quietly walked away. Aunt Patricia placed her wine glass on the table and sighed. "Marcus isn't entirely wrong," she said. "You really should think more seriously about Daniel's future. Renting that tiny apartment forever isn't exactly a long-term plan. Maybe it's finally time to build a real career." Before I could respond, Uncle Robert joined in with his usual smug smile. "I was talking to my financial advisor last week about investment opportunities. Smart people prepare for the future. If you'd made better decisions years ago, maybe Daniel wouldn't have to struggle. It's still not too late." Marcus flipped another burger with dramatic confidence. "Not everyone is meant to be successful," he said proudly. "Running a business takes vision, discipline, and sacrifice. Some people simply don't have what it takes." I felt Daniel's little hand grip mine tighter. Without looking at him, I already knew tears were filling his eyes. My heart broke. No child should ever have to experience humiliation from their own family. I took a slow breath and forced myself to stay calm. "I understand," I said softly. I gently removed the empty paper plate from Daniel's hands and placed it back on the table. "Come on, sweetheart." He looked up at me. "But Mom, I'm hungry." "I know," I replied, squeezing his shoulder gently. "We'll find something better." Without saying another word, we walked toward the gate. Behind us, Marcus raised his voice one last time. "And don't forget next week's family investment meeting," he called sarcastically. "Actually, it's never mind. That's only for family members who contribute something." Several people laughed. I didn't turn around. Some people aren't worth answering. Once we reached the car, Daniel quietly buckled his seatbelt. The moment I started the engine, he couldn't hold back his tears anymore. "Mom," he whispered, "why doesn't Uncle Marcus like us?" I looked through the windshield before answering. "It's complicated, sweetheart." "Is it because we don't have a big house like they do?" The question hit harder than anything Marcus had said. I tightened my hands around the steering wheel. "No, Daniel," I said gently. "Some people judge others without knowing the whole story. Uncle Marcus doesn't understand our life, and that's okay." A few minutes later, we stopped at a small roadside diner. It wasn't fancy. The booths were old, the signs were faded, and the coffee probably hadn't changed in decades. But the waitress greeted us with a warm smile. Daniel ordered a cheeseburger with fries and extra pickles. As I watched him happily eat every bite, I couldn't stop thinking about the last 5 years. 5 years of long nights, 5 years of endless travel, 5 years of video conferences with clients in London, Tokyo, Singapore, and New York, while everyone else assumed I was barely making ends meet. They had never asked what I actually did. They simply decided I wasn't successful. Daniel looked up from his plate with ketchup on his chin. This burger is really good, he said proudly. Then he smiled. I think it's even better than Uncle Marcus's. I laughed for the first time that day. You might be right. That single smile reminded me exactly why every sacrifice had been